Are you thinking about moving into Austin and you're looking at all the suburbs, really confused about where you might want to live? This video is going to cover all of that. We're going to go north, south, east, west. We're going to go all over. I'm going to give you the ins and outs of the top 8 suburbs that are hot in Austin right now. This is Austin, Texas area living. Please subscribe, like our videos, give us comments, give us feedback. And this video is going to cover the top 8, but please subscribe to our channel. We have in-depth videos of many of these suburbs. And so you'll want to take a look at those and figure out in more detail if you're narrowing down your choices. Take a look at those in-depth videos that cover a lot of these suburbs. So let's jump right in. I am going to start with number 1, which is Round Rock, Texas. So it's been a suburb for quite some time. It used to be a little town. A lot of these are their own towns still, but they started off as little towns outside of the main part of Austin, and now they've blended together into the city. Round Rock is right off of I-35, which is the major corridor that runs from Mexico all the way up to Canada, and Round Rock is right off of that. You'll want to watch our video with our in-depth coverage of Round Rock, but just to give you some of the highlights, it's got a really cute little downtown. Many of these suburbs do. You'll want to check them out. It's home to Dell Computers and close to a lot of other employers. So depending on where you're going to work, that's obviously going to be a big factor of where you choose to live, whether you're going to commute or whether you're going to want to live next to your employer. And so if you're commuting on the north side of Austin, it's a great place to live. And it has some top-rated schools, according to greatschools.org. So definitely look at school ratings when you're choosing a neighborhood if you have school-age children. Of course, it's home to Kalahari, which is the indoor water park. A lot of people come into there as a destination to stay for the weekend with their kids. Round Rock has a lot of shopping, dining, IKEA, larger big stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, your Target, all of that. So if you want the convenience of being really close to shopping and a lot of restaurants, you'll have that available in Round Rock. And lastly, it's more of one of the affordable suburbs compared to some of the others that I'm covering, and you'll want to look at prices. Round Rock is located in Williamson County, and they have separate tax rates. Definitely when you're looking in the neighborhoods, you'll want to look at the tax rates compared to Austin. A lot of them are slightly lower, and you'll get a larger home for your dollar if you're living in a suburb compared to living in the city of Austin. So if you're looking for a 2-story home or just a larger home, you can get that in the Round Rock area. A lot of the homes in Round Rock were built, they start in the 70s, but a lot of the major growth in Round Rock happened in the 90s, of course, because Dell is there. And so a lot of the homes 90s, early 2000s, there are still some neighborhoods going up in Round Rock, but you'll get that kind of aged home there. The next suburb is Round Rock's counterpart, and that's Cedar Park. Round Rock is on I-35. Cedar Park is off of 183 and grew and blew up around the same time frame. Lots of the same shopping and dining, and they do run into each other, Cedar Park and Round Rock, on the north side of Austin. So again, if you're working for an employer that is in the north side of Austin, it would be really convenient for you to live in the Cedar Park or Round Rock area. Cedar Park also has really highly rated schools, according to greatschools.org, so check out their ratings. And then Cedar Park is home to the H-E-B Center, so the Texas Stars play there. If you're a fan of them and you want to live close by, or if you just like sports in general, then living in Cedar Park might be a great option for you. The next suburb on my list is Pflugerville. Pflugerville is between Austin and Round Rock and goes out east toward 130 Toll Road. And so Pflugerville is just a massive span of homes, and it's a really great place to live. If you work in downtown, it's really close into Austin and you can get into downtown pretty quickly. A lot of proximity to some of those same employers that Cedar Park and Round Rock would also have proximity to. Pflugerville has Typhoon, Texas, which is an outdoor water park and is really, like I mentioned, close to Cedar Park and Round Rock. Number 4 is Westlake Hills. So now we're going to go a different direction. We're going to go out west starting into the hill country side of Austin. And you have Rollingwood, which is between Austin and Westlake Hills, and it rolls into Westlake Hills. Very top rated school area, and people like it because you're heading out toward the lake area. You have the beautiful hill country where the hills start rolling in that area. But one of the things you'll have to look at with Westlake Hills is the price point. So the average price home there is about $1.2 million. So if that's your budget, then that might be the direction you want to look. The next on the list is Leander. Leander is a really growing area. If you take 183 and go to Cedar Park and then you keep going, it's north of Cedar Park. And so Leander is just a really up and coming, fast growing area. You're going to get newer homes there. You're going to get top rated schools according to greatschools.org. And a lot of new shopping developments are going in, dining. It does have some developments that started in the 80s. But again, more and more homes are still continuing to go in that area. And then a little bit past Leander, you're going to get Liberty Hill. So it's continuing to grow up in that direction. A lot of people like Leander, some really great neighborhoods in that area. So let me know if you want to check out Leander. The next suburb on my list, number 6, is Lakeway. Lakeway is a huge area, and it is, again, out west. So we talked about Westlake Hills. Now we're talking about Lakeway. And there's also Bee Caves, a town out that way. So Lakeway is a really great area. You have proximity to the lake. One of the things that Lakeway is known for is their schools. They have really good school ratings, again, on greatschools.org, depending on which neighborhood you choose. But their schools are very sports-oriented, a lot of football, things like that. It's a very family-oriented suburb, as most of them are, most of the ones I've covered. And you're going to get the middle-of-the-road average home price of $525,000. So it's a little slightly higher than some of the other areas I've covered, but not as high as Westlake Hills, which I talked about earlier. And then number 7 is Georgetown. So Georgetown is north of Cedar Park and north of Round Rock, which we started with earlier. And it, again, like I mentioned, a lot of the suburbs were their own independent towns. It still is its own town, but it flows between all of the other suburbs now. And it has its own town square, really cute town square with shopping and restaurants, as many of them do, but Georgetown's is pretty famous. And also in Georgetown, you're going to get Lake Georgetown for lots of hiking and water activities, fishing that you can visit if you live in that area. Again, you're going to want to look at your proximity to your employers. The north side might not be great if your employer is in downtown, so just pay attention. You're going to get a farther commute from Georgetown into downtown than you would maybe Cedar Park or Pflugerville, if that makes sense. One of the things I like about Georgetown is there's a lot of homes that have larger lots, especially the older homes. So if you're looking for your, smaller piece of land, then you might want to look in the Georgetown area. You can often find a home on a quarter of an acre or slightly larger. And then lots of cool neighborhoods, like I mentioned, Serenata. You have Sun City, which is a senior neighborhood, things like that. Really cool neighborhoods in the Georgetown area. Okay, and then the number 8 suburb is Kyle. I usually combine these. They are actually 2 different towns, Kyle and Buda, and both of those are south of Austin. You first have Buda, and then you have Kyle. To me, they run together. As you're heading down to San Antonio, you'll go through Buda first, and then you'll go through Kyle second. And both of these are great areas to consider, especially if you need to live south. If you need to go into San Marcos, or if you want a convenient way to get into downtown from the south, then both of these would be neighborhoods that you would consider. And it's just a matter of how far out are you willing to live from Austin, as well as your price point. So Buda's slightly higher because it's closer in, and Kyle's a little bit less as it's further out. They both have really great planned communities all throughout them. Sunfield is a big neighborhood in the Buda area. That's a master plan community. And then just like Georgetown, if you're wanting to get a home on a larger lot, quarter of an acre up to an acre, Buda has a lot of older homes that are on those larger lots. And so you can have your own little slice of Texas living in Buda. And even Kyle has some of that as well. That's just something to look into. Your average price point there is going to be $300,000, and it goes a little up as you get closer in. And then, of course, like I said, if you want to get land, it's going to be more expensive than that. So that's the average price point for your average three bedroom, 2 bath, smaller house. The other thing that you'll want to consider with Kyle and Buda is your proximity to the Austin airport. So if you're someone that travels a lot and you want to get south and east to the Austin airport, then this would be a great area to consider. I feel like the lines are blurring now between Austin and San Antonio, and these are right between that corridor. So it's a good opportunity, I think, to invest in a home in that area because it's just continuing to grow between those 2 cities. And then lastly, I told you I was going to cover some hidden gem neighborhoods or suburbs, I should say. And these are 3 that I see as continuing to grow. One of them is Bastrop. Bastrop is located east of Austin, and it's past the airport. Again, it's been its own town. Now it's becoming and growing into a larger suburb. Lots of developments, lots of new builds going in. in that area. They also have a neighborhood called Tahitian Village. And I like Bastrop for a few reasons. We have a lot of development going out east now with Tesla and the Boring Company. And Bastrop is continuing to attract more employers to that area. So I see it continuing to grow out east. I also like that area because you have the river that runs through Bastrop, and also it's the beginning of the piney woods. As I mentioned, on the west side, you're going to get the limestone, rock, hills. It's a little drier, but you have those rolling hills. Well, out east, you're going to get that river soil with the piney woods. Comparing Bastrop to Lakeway, just day and night kind of different landscapes. And so you might want to take a visit to both of them to just really compare and see what you're looking for. But I do like Bastrop. They are improving the road from Austin to Bastrop right now. It has backed up a little bit because of the growth and because of the way to get over there, but that's continuing to grow. So I would consider that area a growing area. The next hidden gem that I want to talk about is Hutto, and then north of Hutto is Taylor. So that area is growing really rapidly. That is north and east of Round Rock and the Georgetown area. Used to be mostly like agricultural fields, large fields, but that area is really growing. Lots of new communities, if you want a new build, going into those areas, and affordable. I have clients looking in Hutto right now, looking in the $350,000, $400,000 price range. There's new builds that kind of range from that price all the way up, and that area is growing. There are employers coming into that area as well. We have the new Samsung location opening up in Taylor. And so if you're working in Taylor, Hutto is a great community to consider, as well as Taylor. That area is continuing to grow. And I have a feeling the lines will blur between all of those areas as well in the future. So if you're just wanting to invest in an area that's growing, then that might be an area to consider. Okay, the last hidden gem that I want to cover is the San Marcos area. And then out west of San Marcos, we have Wimberley and Canyon Lake. Technically, those are 3 different areas. But I just want to highlight again that the lines between San Antonio and Austin are continuing to blur. And of course, San Marcos is right in between those 2 cities. And so I see that area continuing to grow. They're continuing to widen roads, add in more restaurants, more shopping. You have the San Marcos River that runs right through the college, Texas State there, and that attracts a lot of people in the summer, and there's more jobs there. And then if you want to go out west and into the Wimberley Canyon Lake area, you get, of course, Lake, and Wimberley is a small town. We have a whole video on Wimberley, but that's really a great area to consider. There's still the ability to get some land out there, either east or west of San Marcos. There's also new builds and new developments that are going into that area. And so it's a great place to consider. You will have a longer commute time into downtown Austin. It might be worth it just because you have your own town in between Austin and San Antonio with everything that you need, shopping, dining. And so that's an area that I would consider as well. If you're looking to move into any of these areas or you want to dig really deep, be sure and reach out and contact me. My name is Julie Hutchison. I have a team, Hutchison Property Group. We help people moving into this area all the time. And I'd also love to hear more from you. Leave us some comments and let us know if this video has been helpful or what else you'd like to see. Thank you.